we're back with another trader interview, and this one is going out with a futures trader involved.
It is indeed.
Mo Al-Saheli.
Yes, sir.
I'd like you to start me at the beginning. Tell me how you got into the markets, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so I started unseriously, like 5 years ago, in 2017. That's more than 5 years ago, actually.
Okay, 2017. Wow.
It's like when I first joined university. I was like, I need
What
something
were you doing at uni?
Law.
Okay.
So something completely opposite of law, just financial markets. But I've heard a lot about it from crypto, of course. That was going up, and family, they were into the financial markets, they were trading. So I was like, you know what? Let me look into that.
So they encourage you. You get your family support or not?
So not like that, but they were telling me to look into it. And for some time I was pushing it away. But then I was like, you know what? One day I was like, you know what? Let me just have a look into it. But I had a look into it, in a, what's it called? In a very wrong way.
All right.
And it's not how you should look at trading, to be honest.
This is very. So what were you looking at then? PA? Was it your own money? Or?
Yes, it was my own money, right? I didn't even know that anything like that exists, any prop firms at that time. That was way before.
Neither did I. I was in the industry. This is amazing, an amazing opportunity for everyone.
It is insane, to be honest. But so how I got into it was I would have my own money. So that was the first thing. I had my own money. I'll put for example, say £500, right? And I would want to make money quick, which is always the wrong idea to have when you go into trading, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do, which is very wrong, is I would wait for a big news event, like an NFP or something, or what's it called, CPI, and I would just have my so I'd have my money, my £500. I would literally go all in a minute before the news. And which is not which is not smart, right?
Not what I'm expecting from a lawyer.
Not at all, right? And then I remember I was with this broker, right? I think they were based in Australia or something like that. They were not regulated in the UK, so they didn't have a thing called so you're not protected against the zero sum, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you'd go straight through. Yeah.
So what happened was I had my 500, and literally within seconds I owed them 2,000.
Nice. You had to own a credit account.
I was
as
okay,
well.
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
What a start.
These are hard lessons to learn.
I was oh, that's margin call. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. You don't want the. Ooh, I know that number.
What's that?
Yeah.
Let me just hide this account.
Exactly. So that's. Again, it puts bad habits into you, and
it does,
loss avoidance and that sort of thing.
It does, and I was because I would look into the charts, and I'm this is confusing. I don't even know how to begin to and even understand anything that would come.
So not only were you playing, you didn't have any real idea,
any knowledge at that time. So I was like, okay, what's the next step I can do? This does not work clearly. So I was like, okay, let me go and check indicators. And
you're still studying it at this time.
I was not studying it, so I was looking.
No, were you still studying law at the time?
Yeah. I was still doing a lot of time in university, but I was finding ways to understand trading without actually putting in the work. So what I would do is I would
the shortcut,
the big shortcut, right? I would go into online, I would go Google stuff like that, and I would try to buy indicators and
You're
stuff like that.
Influencer's dream, aren't you?
You literally. I was oh, that's a good indicator, and the way they sell it, right? It's this indicator never loses. They will make you so much money. It's incredible, whatever. So I was okay, you know what? I'll buy this indicator, and I bought it, right? And I just kept losing money every single trade that I would put. And I was like, okay, wow, this is maybe not for me. I'm just gonna park it aside.
Yeah.
And then I think around 18 months ago, I was like, you know what? Let me take it seriously.
So you had a big break before you came back then?
A massive break, yeah. So that probably lasted a few months. And then I was like, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to just focus on my studies or live life as a 19, 20, 21 years old. Should be. Not focusing on anything else. And then I was like, so 18 months ago, I was like, I need to give it another try. And at that time, I knew of prop firms. So I didn't risk any live money from that point. But I was like, I need to learn. I actually need to take the time and
take it seriously.
And so what I would do, just I would watch a lot of YouTube videos.
The educational ones now.
All the educational ones, right? Yeah. And of course, I went through different people, and some were good, some were bad, but you just have to, what's it called, test the waters essentially with it. And then so like what I would do is like I would go and like backtest like the thing I learned, and if over like a long like period of time it works, I would be like happy. I would be so excited. Okay, now I actually want to go try it out. And that didn't always work, of course, because if you backtest something and if you face something like in the live market, it could be different, especially like in the early stages of trading. So what happened after that? Like I kept like trying. I failed, but I kept trying, and I would like, because like I have a full-time job at the same time, so I would like be watching videos until like 5-6 a.m. and then go to my job at 8:30.
Wow, so you're starting to get fatigue and
Exactly.
stress.
So I was like, yeah, I need to, but like I was like, I need to learn that because that interests me. Like I was always into like finance, financial market, just like something nice. But yeah, like maybe a couple of months into that, like things slowly started clicking. But I was like getting.
So what sort of all these things you're watching, what factors and indicators attracted you then, and strategies?
To be honest, what I found out is like just keeping everything simple. Because in the beginning I was just complicating stuff, and I was watching all these like influencers. You need to use all these FFGs, and you know, like you need to wait for this order block to cross with another order block, and inverse order block. It can take it back again, and then it was just like a lot of mumble jumble.
90% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm
Fair,
like, what do you mean, guys? Like, so yeah, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like try and error, and like I just kept like looking at the charts, and I think what really helps is like if you become, I don't want to say like that, but like low-key obsessed with what you're doing, because I feel like with anything, like not just trading, if you just become obsessed with something.
That word's come up already today.
Actually?
Yeah.
But like, that's what I think it is, because with anything like you want to do, if you get...
This is a job. It's a trade. You're learning it, and you can't expect to walk into it and know it all instantly. There's no quick get-rich scheme, and you're trading with the best minds, the best game players. Only a few percentage win overall.
Definitely.
But doesn't mean that you can't be winning in the interim.
Of course.
But like I say, can't.
No, like definitely. It's just like, because what I like about trading is like how like interconnected like it is with the world, right?
Yeah.
So like in that chart, like everyone looks at that chart, there's a lot of like retail traders, all the banks, all the hedge funds, and it's just like
so many players.
everything together.
All
it's just one chart. So you're just there. It's like, it's quite like surreal when you just like take a step back and look into it. It's like, wow, there's a lot that goes into it. Like literally, like the global economy depends on it, right? Like it's literally on it. So it just cool like that, which is like one of like the reasons that I was like, yeah, that's something that's
it's powerful, isn't it?
It is
so
very
much
powerful.
involved. I keep saying this, of course, repetition's the best form of learning and humour. But there's 20 kinds of players involved in the market of all different ideas and directions, and they're all playing. As you said, they're all in there. They're all in that chart. But it's trying to work out which one's a predominant trend that other people maybe are backing. Where's the weight of money? It all comes down to weight of money at the end of the day.
It does.
And the game is trying to weave in and out and find which one's winning, because it could be another one tomorrow. It could be a different strategy.
Of course.
But it's certainly not SMC and ICT every moment of the day, you know, which is...
That's a controversial topic. You know, some people would agree, some would disagree. But I'm joining you in that. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of that. I'm sure like some of that works, but...
Yeah, like I say, and it's got its moment, and it will have ascendancy, but to a certain extent, they talk about it being an institutional model. If you go into the institutional world, they'll go, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? You did not make the market.
So from that, you're now starting to think, it's all in there, I need to start interpreting this.
Yeah, like I need to start interpreting. I need to just like start joining in, and I had to play with my mind a bit, like, because like there's like a lot that goes into it. And, like at the end of the day, like all you want to do is like join on the move while it's happening. Like you can't really move the market. No one has enough money to really move the market, right? So you just want to join at the right time, at the right moment, and that's something that's interesting. And I know you're a big like fundamental analysis guy, and I'm starting to slowly getting into that because I do understand the importance of it. I struggle to understand the importance of it to me with how I'm trading, because
the power comes from the overlap.
It does.
The TA,
it does.
I'm still a big believer in that, but but I've got my long-term Elliott wave idea is mine, because that gives you a lot of sentiment feel and
of course
and you know, turning points, pivot points. But to me, I wouldn't do anything without looking at 2 or 3 other indicators for confluence and MACDs and stuff. It all to me sits in a pattern, but it's what works for you. What you've got to find
It does.
sits your psychology, which I'm sure you're going to tell me.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot like to it. So like with fundamentals to me, I know it's important, and I know the stuff that we talked about already, the global economy, and all of that, like that fits into it. But it's and I know that it drives the market, but it's like a very long-term picture, if you know what I mean. And like if
it can take weeks for some of the Trump stuff didn't really affect until a week
Exactly.
later, when obviously something had changed and you just needed
So
the bigger
slowly.
money to change its mind. Didn't
It-
mean that fundamental wasn't there to be put into the model.
of course.
You know, it's
No, it is interesting to just mix and match essentially, just have them both together, and like when they both fit, and when you have all the confluences, that's when you should take your trades. Yeah.
so. What do you use then? What's the great winning formula for you? And I've got to work out still who the number one trader is. So
Oh, okay. So I told you I started with complicated stuff like on my new journey, and then I found out let's keep it simple, and that's when a lot of like the winnings happened. And how I do it is I start looking at the higher time frame, and like the higher time frame to me is not like it's like maybe the daily. I start every day in the daily, and then like I move like from the daily to 4 hour, 1 hour, 5 minutes. But like what I look into specifically, like I place a lot of importance into like market structure. That's very important to me.
and when you a lot of people have different definitions of that. So what are you looking for in market structure?
So yeah, so it depends. So like what I look into like more specifically, I prefer to have like the higher time frame kind of. So like I follow that market structure, because the lower time frame is very like volatile, right? It can go up and down. It's not really like structured. Like the low time frame to me is more of an entry model of like this stacks together, and if like a certain thing happened, like I'll jump in. But like one of the things that I look for is like I think I keep it like raw, right? So if like for example like higher lows, lower highs, all that stuff, and then like if it breaks, then I'm expecting like a reversal. But it's also depends on like for example like which low was broken. You know what I mean? Because like I go from literally like the lowest low.
So it might not have broken on the daily, but it has in the
exactly
15 or an hour. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's like so like to me it's always like the low that brought that actual high. I want that to break, because the market can just go in waves, right? Like little waves, stuff like that.
That's my philosophy. There's waves within waves. It's different degrees.
So it's different degrees. So you just
need to know where you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you just need to map it out. And that's why I feel like taking a step back, zooming out of the charts, really helps with that. Because if you're too zoomed, because that was like my problem in the beginning. I was too zoomed in.
Trading each kick,
literally,
or tick, literally.
Like tick, come on, just do it. And then just take a step back, relax. I also use supply and demand zones within that. I try to, for example, have them both like in confluence somehow, and then like when that happens, I try to go like to the lower time frames, and I look for like a flip or something. And then
so where are you doing your supply and demand zones? Are you doing them horizontally, or are you going within the actual shape of the trend? Or
I'm doing them horizontally, right? Yeah, so I am doing them like horizontally. And to be honest, like people, I know, because like it could have like different like terminology, but it's like similar to order blocks essentially.
Well, that's essentially what supply
and demand was, or just like a different name to it.
Yeah, like you said, I've been around for a long time, and the nomenclature changes all the time, and it's basically the same premise, and you're trying to work out whether that order's going to move, and is it staying there? There are dark pools in the real world where you can't see the trade until it's printed later, and people hold levels, icebergs and things. So it's
Definitely
trying to work out what will make them move. Is it the price action? Is it the fundamentals? Or are they just going to sit there until they've seen how big you are? Classic fundamentals. They're all games within games.
It is. It's all. That's like definitely it. And I think just like ultimately like fundamentals probably move the market. Let's like.
Yeah, I do think that there is a massive combination to it, but at the end of the day, we can draw all the zones and all the lines and all the pivot points till the cows come home, but if it doesn't relate to what the bloke with the order's got,
definitely,
if he's just told his dealer to move it 10p, what's that got to do with what's on the chart? It's kind of, that's now created a new zone for you, a new important level, but
that you just mark.
It's very rare. I mean, we've got this market at the moment, which is tough, isn't it? It could go either way with the way it's
Definitely.
built up. There's lots and lots of retests both ways.
Definitely.
Could literally break either way. We've got to find a reason for that. Sometimes the chart is so extreme, it's telling you that the fundamentals is somewhere is going to have to change to break that pattern or to extend the pattern. That's where the power comes into me. It's a great game, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, what made you like fall in love with like fundamentals? What was like?
Well, I had a look at markets. So I was playing around with the index guys as well, but I went to university, did insurance and investment, risk management stuff.
That's pretty cool.
So I was always, and I loved economics when I came through A level. That was my favourite subject. So I was always all over aggregate supply and demand. So that, to me, always this must mean something, and that's why I've always found, and the way I've gone through and been taught and traded and tried to interpret for people. To me, the aggregate demand curve is the one that tells you what's happening with the data.
Yeah.
That's C plus I plus G, X plus M. So you've got consumer, you've got all investments, you've got government, then you've got foreign trade. If you put all the data points into that, you will have at least a working model of where things are going.
Definitely.
So, anybody can pick that up. That's literally taking degree economics, putting it on the table and going, right, that's what it all means. Yeah. That's the majority of what's going on. The rest of it is all, extra noise. And I think that if we could get everybody to start fundamentals and go, I can do that. Does that mean that's a consumer print? That's retail sales. That's durable goods. That's an investment. That's government spending. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
And then we can start looking at the nuance, and you build up a pattern.
Definitely. And there's a lot of resources to even learn that. Like, you don't need to have like an economics background nowadays.
No, not
like,
at all.
You
guys are so lucky. Everything is there at our fingertips. Just click a
YouTube.
Click. Yeah.
That's it. All we need. And we just have all the information. You can also buy books and stuff like that. And it's also just interesting to just know these stuff, even if you don't believe in fundamentals. Because some people don't fully believe in that, or some people are just hesitant to believe in that.
Well, I think it comes down to the fact that it's a lot of hard work again. But again, you can, like I said, start literally simple and then ask questions of people. Go and look at each of those factors and go, how does that affect growth? And then you can look at inflation. What's moving in the inflation prints? I always say go and look at the people who issue each data point, whether it's BLS, BEA, ONS. I mean, these are all acronyms for
all this stuff.
the data release people. But go to their site, read it all. I've got a guy, Danny, on my chat at the moment, and that's exactly what he does. He's teaching himself from within. It's brilliant.
Actually, the stuff that you post on like the Discord, I think it's like market reviewed with Planty.
Yeah.
I think that's the name. I have read it. Like that stuff is super helpful. Like people should read into that.
Good, because I'm trying to get you futures guys to answer. Someone needs to answer me.
I will answer that.
Please, that's your task, and then we can get that going.
Because it is very interesting stuff. Like, yeah, and it's very
on the Alpha Capital side, we have chats and you can ask anything, and people jump in then that have got some knowledge.
Yeah, okay.
It's not just me boring you.
I feel bad now that you're just here like spamming us.
Futures, Ben, I'm on your futures guys. No, but they're brilliant, great engagement, and we're trying to get the Discord live going, which unfortunately the kit's not been working. But that again, you can jump on that.
No, I will definitely jump on that, and I feel like that Discord is slowly becoming more lively, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we've changed it a little bit over the years, but it is good, and we've had some good engagement in the past. There were times when there were 20, 30 people all, coming in, not just a nutter public chat one where you can't even see what's been posted, but somewhere sensible to chat about markets.
No, definitely.
Give it a go. So, back to you, your strategies then. How are you getting on now then? You had a mixed start, but I presume you're on the successful Traders Day, so you must be doing all right.
I mean, it's still, I'd like to say, I'm still learning every day.
We're all learning.
That's what I'd like to say. I'm still learning every day. And what's really interesting is with each day, I like to say each day, but it takes a couple of months or weeks of reading a lot of data points, just being obsessed with the charts and your strategies, and just applying your strategies in them, even if back testing or forward testing, if not actual actively trading, but just to maybe. So
you've gone full circle now. You're back testing, forward testing,
and everything.
Not guessing. Yeah.
So not fully guessing, but yeah. So but I feel it's I'm having a lot of aha moments.
And you're trading. What did you say? You're trading Nasdaq, is it?
Yeah, NQ. That's why I trade. exclusively actually.
Right. What drew you to that?
Sorry.
What drew you to trading Nasdaq?
Yeah, so because like before like joining the future side, right? I didn't even understand anything about futures. I was with like Alpha Capital Group, so the actual like CFD part of Alpha Capital. And
what made you try futures then?
I just saw like a message like on the Discord, Alpha Futures now live. I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a go.
What do you think to it?
Why not, right? I went into it, and I know it was like different instruments, and I mean it's still an instrument, but just like futures. So I just went into YouTube just to get some basic understanding of like what's a contract size, what's it take, just like stuff like that, just to understand the very basics. And I was just using the same strategies, and it was.
Do you use the micros?
No.
You're not?
No.
So you're full on turbo.
Yeah.
Turbo nutter.
From one
contract size.
Yeah, from 1 to 2, but like I don't try to go more.
So
but
micros for you guys, that's the ability to split the main contract down into tenths, basically, isn't it?
That's true.
So Nasdaq's $10 a point, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, so if that's too much exposure for you, you can drop it down to $1 by doing one micro, and that's a way of, like in the CFD world, you're doing lot sizes.
Exactly.
Then it's the alternative, but it's a defined size, so it's a lot easier. I think it's conceptually easier for a beginner to go future, even though it sounds more complicated. I think it's a easier way of starting.
Definitely it is, and like how I also like to, because like I like to like scalp, but like by scalp not like take scalping, like I don't do quick, but just like a couple of minutes, maybe like 10-20 minutes, like in a trade, just get like a couple, like 10-12 points. And then
so you're focused on the win, or is there an indicator that gets you out? Or
so what I do is what I believe in is like the number one goal is to like protect your capital. So I would wait for the price to go maybe like let's say like 10 points or something, and that would go break even. And then if it goes more, I would try to just take some money until it reaches.
Has that affected your win rate by doing that, or in a positive or negative way?
Both, I'll be honest, because like sometimes it would literally go back to your break even and just shoot straight to your take profit, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it would just go to your stop loss, and
this is a classic, isn't it? And this is a classic you see on YouTube all the time. Do you or don't you?
It is tough, to be honest.
It's a weird one, because in the real world, because in the institutional world it's different, because people have got their parameters and they're buying. You've obviously you're taking them on. You've got an amount of money that you can't really go beyond without coming up with a fantastic reason to management, etc.
Yeah.
But I can see the pluses and minuses of both, as long as it doesn't psychologically damage you.
So, about that. So in the beginning, it did a lot, because I'd be like, oh no.
What, the frustration of being right and then still managing to lose?
I was right, or lose, or just like break even, or like lose a couple of like dollars or something. I'm like if I just kept it, I would have been okay.
Age-old. Everyone's
like I would have had a good day today. And I think that was like in the beginning of it.
But you've got to factor in the positivity of not losing as well.
I do, but
it's a kind of non-loss, isn't it?
That's very true, and that was my intention in the beginning, right? I was like, I'm gonna look at it that way, but when it happens, everything changes, right? So you can't really like back on that. And I feel like with time, and like I feel like even like only recently that I just accepted it and just like break even if it goes a bit, like pay myself even if a bit. I want to just pay myself a bit, and if it goes like
if you're playing probabilities and you're playing, you've got 10 goes based on your probability. You've just protected another go, haven't you? In a way,
definitely, and you could have made a few $100. For example,
it's a classic thing of use losses as positives, but equally, and you've got the right idea. The break even is a win. It's not a loss. If you can shut out the fact that you've missed out on the upside, for the psychology side, it may not be the best overall profitable strategy, but it's for you. If it makes you feel comfortable, then you've found your way, haven't you? Definitely,
yeah. And I definitely feel way more comfortable putting it in like break even, because I've had times when it was like literally like so close to my take profit, and then it just shoots down to my stop loss. And like if I had break even, if I even like took some of the profit, just like moved my stop loss up a bit, and just took some money.
I think that whole thing, you got to remember that you want a process and you want rules, but it is a dynamic world, and
it is.
Sometimes you can adjust and you can take some of that profit. If you've spotted something that has changed a dynamic, then I think that's
Yeah.
That's a new position, isn't it?
Definitely. And even like with these markets right now, it's like very volatile up and down. I feel like those break evens, take some of the profits, really help me out.
I found chatting on some of the risk reviews with people, some guys have identified they're actually better at closing their trades than actually taking them. So I tried to encourage them, well, why don't you journal that?
That's very true.
And literally go, put in the times when you feel you should be closing trade, or you would be closing it if you were putting a trade on, if you know what I mean. It's like you might find that you're actually a better negative trader than a positive one. So it's just about finding your way.
Your way. No, of course, and like everyone just have like a different perspective on it, because I know like I've talked about it with friends who just don't believe in like break evens. They were like, I'm just gonna like set my profit target, set my stop loss, whatever happens, which is also a very good way to look at it. It's like that.
I think what I always get out of talking to you guys is that it all comes down to getting the process, and that process that's right for you. And it's when you're doing someone else's idea that it goes wrong. So
definitely.
And if it's working for
all
you now,
time,
then stick with it till it's not.
Definitely, not all the time. And even like with like your strategy, right? Because like you can go and like follow like a certain strategy, and like that might not work with you. And like other people that I know, like they have their like, what's it called, like their strategy from somewhere, but they also tweaked it a bit to themselves, and that's.
But in a way, yours is on the compounding side, because you're taking away the losses, aren't you? So when you are winning, you're moving more into profit. So what do you do when you're on a losing run?
So okay, and that's only recently, right? Before I used to not be good, right? But if I'm losing, like I just feel like taking a break is always good. Take a break. Just like don't even think about it for a bit, right? Yeah. Just like if you take a loss,
just walk away.
Maybe even at least wait like half an hour. Don't even look at the chart for that time. Even find like another, like even if it was like a perfect setup, 15 minutes later, just.
So we discussed earlier, the whole setup's perfect, but you just don't know if there's somebody just has got an order that's an hour long. They're just going literally just keep hitting the market for me. You're never going to spot that until you'll spot it when it's finished. You might see the volume spike, momentum change, but when you're caught up in it, just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. And and I just feel like that will do you so much good. And I also feel like the stuff that you do outside of trading affects your trading. So, for example, like if you exercise and stuff like that can clear your mind a bit, and you can like have like a fresh start. And, like look at the chart.
I was just going to say to you, is there anything that you do away from trading to de-stress? So do you exercise?
Yeah, I do exercise. I play my sports.
What do you play?
Tennis. I'm a big tennis player.
Oh wow!
So that helps a lot, because especially like if you're just angry from trading, right, you can just like hit the ball as hard as you can and just show your frustration there.
Who's the world number one at the moment?
Right now, I think it's Yannick Sinner. So that's an Italian guy.
Give me your opinion on Yannick Sinner with all the. Is he a cheat?
Okay, so there's a lot of different opinions, right? That's an interesting topic, and I know that he was suspended for like I think 2 months, and I think I know he was caught only with like a negligible amount of like.
Twice? Is it twice though, or not?
I think it's once.
Just once?
Was it twice?
I thought I'd heard someone say twice, but
it could have been twice. If it was twice, then.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking I was forgiving on one.
I'm not sure, but I think it was once. But like at the end of the day, like rules are rules. So.
It's tough, isn't it? You've got to now manage what your physio is doing, as well as looking after yourself.
But like
I always say, you know what you put in your mouth. You've got to understand that.
Like you're responsible, like for your team, and then they like, if like a manager within a company, like something happens in their team, they will take the full blame into it, right? So I think that's what it goes into it. But just sad because it's also like a young player, number one, so he's not even coming up. He's already like. Doing a lot of good stuff like for his career, so
it's just like you just mentioned something there that obviously you're doing right, which is you've got to own it, haven't you? The reason you're doing better in trading is you're owning the process.
Definitely,
that's a key thing, isn't it? It just shows you. I think for me the way of processing Sinner is that all of a sudden he's not doing the full day job. He's let go, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and so. It does have a lot, actually. Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. I was just like having a thought about it now. Yeah. No, but yeah, there's a lot that you can take from it. And
so you trade NASDAQ. So what do you think of Trump and Musk?
Ooh, they are moving the market like crazy. It's like out of nowhere you see, you see the market just like going, like moving in an like incredible speed.
So like behaving, and then all of a sudden,
Like what's happening? And then like you check, there's no news. And you're like, what's happening? And then like you look at the news. Oh, Trump placed some tariffs on this country. Musk
crazy, isn't it?
said something.
did you see the one where he pinned the King of Jordan down? So
Yeah.
Poor guy's come to have a chat, and then he's on CNBC before he knows it.
Just like talking to him and stuff like that. That was a fun interview.
That was on nobody's diary, was it? You do all the eco diary for the week, look at the talking heads, and then all of a sudden you've got to start looking at Trump now. It's kind of,
Yeah.
and then you got Musk. He's now the number one richest guy.
And also like anything he says have a massive impact on the market, like massive impact actually. Especially like I remember his run with like crypto, which is like that was crazy to me because like he would like I'm not sure if he was promoting your crypto or anything, but because he would say something and would just fly. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's ironic. Wasn't Dogecoin that was a meme? That was supposed to be a joke, wasn't it?
So like, what's happening there? Like I didn't understand it fully, but all I can say it's very interesting times, and it's an interesting time to trade, to be honest. And
anything else you like about the futures product?
yeah, so number one, I'll just say like that in comparison to, for example, like CFD. Futures is way more cleaner. Like I feel like the price action is so much more cleaner. I don't think there's much like manipulation happening because it's all of that about like centralized exchange.
Real money.
And it's like real money. And I've heard some person calling it like that's like the gentleman like way of trading. That's like the gentleman of trading. And I really do just like it. And I just like find my way with it more than CFD. And even though I started with CFD, and as soon as
and what about the way that Ben and the team have set it up? To me, it looks like the best combination product.
It's insane. Like Ben and the team did an amazing job. Like I just don't understand because I was like I joined Alpha Futures pretty early on, and it was set up from like pretty early on, like very very well. Like I didn't have any blimps from early on, which I would imagine any
startup like normally is all over the place. Yeah,
it should happen, but Ben did an incredible job, and like the way that Alpha Futures was called, it's like structured in comparison to other futures firms. Just they have like better rules. Like I tried to look at other like future firms because like let me try something else as well. And I'm just like reading the rules, and I'm like
thinking, God, I've got to qualify 3 times.
I don't know like, what's happening here, and like they have also a lot of like hidden rules stuff like that. But with futures, just like it's clear.
And the payouts are just incredible.
It's the speed. I've never seen anything like that. To be honest. Like literally, like not even 24 hours. Literally within like a couple of hours.
Really?
And I'm like literally with every payout that I had so far, it was like it was like a couple of hours, no issues. The team's always super supportive. Like Ben and the entire team, to be honest, they're very very nice people to talk to. Like in Discord, always happy to help. Insane rules. Like it's just like an amazing product, and like I just cannot see myself trading with any other future prop firms. Even like I tried one time and I just didn't like it, and I just stopped literally within that same day, and I was like, I want a refund. I don't want to continue.
I'm going to stop you there, Mo, because it's getting embarrassing. Right? If you've heard it from the horse's mouth, one of our most successful traders on the platform, and he absolutely loves it, and there's nothing I don't think he'd change, and it to him we're the best on the street. What more can you say? It's been a real pleasure. Really interested in your journey and the fact that you yet again have overcome a bad start like a lot of people have, but you found a process. I think the key message you're giving is it's about finding your way, isn't it, and sticking with it. And
definitely.
And then the future is your oyster, as it were.